There's a reason the Sleep Number Smart Bed is the #1 best bed for couples. It's because you can each choose what's right for you whenever you like. Firmer or softer on either side, Sleep Number does that. One side cooler and the other side warmer, Sleep Number does that too. You have to feel it to believe it. Sleep better together. Why choose a Sleep Number Smart Bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now, during our holiday sale, save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing. Limited time, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
You call him and you say what?
I said to him, Ralph, there's 4 feet of the carpeting that's faded, 4 by 12.
Okay.
His answer to me was, well, you have enough to do the job. And I said, that's not the point. I paid for 12 by 19.
Okay.
Okay, the part that's faded is not good for me no more, other than to put it in a garage in the wintertime. I says, but I paid you for a 12 by 19 piece
And what
of
does he say?
This is the plaintiff, Joseph Peroso. He says he hired the defendant to install some new carpeting in his house, and he offered to bind the remnants so he could make some foot mats out of them. When he went to pick up the mats, they charged him $100 for them. They were supposed to be done for free. The guy double-crossed him, and he's suing for the return of the $100 he's owed, plus $400, because the carpeting he installed is faded. This is the defendant, Ralph Tomeo. He says it costs him money and time to bind the leftover pieces of carpeting, and he gave the plaintiff a nice discount by only charging him $100. The carpeting his guys installed on the plaintiff's stairs was not faded. It still isn't faded, and this guy has nothing better to do with his time because this lawsuit is meritless. He's accused of giving a customer rug burn.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. All right, Mr. Peroso, you're suing the carpet company represented here by Mr. Tomeo. All right, for $400 that you say they owe you as a result of giving you some faded carpeting. Tell me what happened.
What happened, Your Honor, I went out to Ralph's place that we've dealt with him many years ago, and I bought a 12 by 19 remnant carpeting that was standing up in the store.
Okay.
Gave him the measurements of the steps that needed to be done. And we picked out this one piece, and it was a good carpet. And we scheduled a time for the carpet to be installed.
Did you unravel the 12 by 19 piece to take a look at it?
No. He said that he would unravel it to make sure that there will be enough carpeting before they come to do the job. Whether he did or not, I don't know, Your Honor. But when, in fact, they came to the house, his sons came to install it, his 3 boys. They unrolled it. The apartment was empty at the time, so they were able to unroll it and cut the width of the stairs, what was needed to do the job. When they unrolled it, the carpeting was faded.
All of it or some of it?
No, just about 4 feet by 12 feet.
Because it had been rolled and then was in the sun, so just the stuff that was exposed.
Yeah, it was standing up in the store.
Okay.
They did cut off what they had to cut off, and they measured it out, and they said, there's enough to do the steps, the stringers, the platform, and all. But when I looked at it, I said, wait a minute, I paid for a 12 by 19. So 4 feet of the 12 feet was faded. So what happened was when they called their father up and...
Why did they call their father up?
Well, they had called the father. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. There was some carpeting that was left over from the job, okay? And all carpet, Ralph said that, give my sons the pieces and we'll put binding on for
Okay,
you.
okay. I need to understand, did you ever complain to him about the 4 feet of...
Oh, absolutely. I called them up. Matter of fact, the day they
while
were
the
putting
sons
it in,
were still there?
While they were still there.
You call him and you say what?
I said to him, Ralph, there's 4 feet of the carpeting that's faded, 4 by 12.
Okay.
His answer to me was, well, you have enough to do the job. And I
Right.
said, that's not the point. I paid for 12 by 19.
Okay.
Okay, the part that's faded is not good for me no more, other than to put it in a garage in the wintertime, I says, but I paid you for a 12 by 19 piece of
And what
carpeting.
does he say?
He said to me, again, Joe, you're not understanding. There's enough to finish the job.
Okay.
What's needed? So I left off at that. Getting back to the carpeting that was pieces that were left over to the mats.
So you and he did not discuss the carpeting pieces that were left over in that phone call?
What happened was his sons, he told his sons, take the carpeting that's left over. Not the faded piece. That was no good. We left that on the side. It was the pieces that were left over after they cut whatever they cut to make mats. What had happened was, again, he said, give me the carpeting and we'll put the
Wait, no,
binding.
see, you're jumping around and I'm
Okay.
not sure who he's talking to, his
Okay.
sons or you. So
Okay,
we
he
went
was-
over the, stop, let me ask my question. We went over the conversation in its entirety. At no time were the remnants, neither the faded remnants nor the unfaded remnants, discussed in your conversation with him.
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I did call him when
Again?
when his sons were there.
Okay, but I just went through the whole conversation
Right.
and you said no, that you didn't discuss the remnants.
No, I discussed the fact that the part was faded.
I didn't ask you that. I'm not talking about what to do with the remnants and making them into pads, and into finishing them off with the
Okay,
seam and all that.
okay, his son-
How did that issue come up?
Okay. His sons called him, okay, and said, we have carpeting he's given us back to bind. So,
Okay, wait. See, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whose idea was it to bind leftover carpeting? Yours?
he had
Did
said-
you say, "Hey,
No,
I'd
no,
like
no,
to
no.
bind this"?
He had said, any pieces that are left over, bring them to me and we'll
He
bind
had
them.
said that to whom, sir?
To me.
In the first conversation that we went over?
No, when we went at the store. At the store, he said, whatever's left
So
over.
at the store when you're buying it,
Right.
he tells you what?
Whatever's left over, we could bind them for you and put binding and use them as mats.
Okay. Did he ever tell you a price for that?
No.
Did you assume there would be a price for that?
No.
You assumed that would be for free.
There was no mention of any price at all.
Have you ever had that done by a carpeting?
Yes, we've had carpeting binded. As a matter of fact, we had used him 8 years ago when we bought our unit, gave him back carpeting, and he bound them for us, and there was no charge.
No charge. That's exactly what I wanted to ask. So,
There
and
was
there
no
was no
charge.
charge.
There was
All right.
no
So
charge,
now
right.
let's talk about. There's carpeting left over, and then the sons have a conversation with him, but you don't hear his side of the conversation.
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Right. And what do you hear the sons say?
Okay, what the son said to him, we're taking back some pieces to be bound.
Okay.
Okay, they rolled them up, tied them up, and brought them back after the job was finished.
Okay. And then how many pieces were there?
4.
All right. And then what did you do with the faded piece that was on the 12?
It's still at my unit. I have it in the garage.
Okay. So you go to pick up the mats that were made, and you're stunned to be billed $100.
Yes, I had said, why are you charging me $100? He said to me, because, number one, there were more than 2 pieces of carpeting. We worked late to do this, and I'm giving you a discount price of $100. So I said to him, I says, Ralph, we're not fighting, we're still on the fact that the carpeting is faded, and yet you're charging me $100 now more for carpeting. It's not fair and it's not right. So I told his son was there actually, he was the gentleman that was doing it. He was not there, Ralph, at the store.
But he
when
had
I
left
went.
a note telling his son to charge you $100.
Right.
Right.
When he had the conversation with his son on the phone, he says to his son, only give him 2 pieces of carpeting. That's what he said. And I said, wait a minute, it's my carpeting. I says, you shouldn't be charging me in the first place. Now you're holding me 4 pieces? He said, that's what my father said. Just take 2. I paid him. It was my carpet.
You paid the $100.
Which I have a receipt
You took the 4
for.
pieces.
I took the 4 pieces of carpeting.
Well, that last time, when you first used him years ago, how many pieces did you get?
Maybe 3. I don't recall.
Okay. Talk to me about the binding of remnants.
All right, so the most round of the remnant is 20 inches. So 4 feet, once you get past that rounded part in the front.
In other words, when you roll up a carpet, there's only going to be...
There's only 20 inches that could have been hit by the sun.
Right.
Okay, the rest of it is wrapped inside the remnant, and it's all protected.
So according to you, there wasn't 4 feet of faded.
There's nowhere near
Did you
4
ever take a
feet.
picture of the faded portion of the carpet?
Yes.
Can I see? All right, so go on.
So 20 inches of the carpet, which comes to 3 yards at most, is what was faded. When Joe came into the store and we were searching for a remnant for him, we were looking around for a 12 by 12.
So hold on, wait, stop a second. So it's that stripe that I'm seeing here?
It's not just, it's the whole piece, Your Honor. It's just that stripe came out a lot, highlighted a lot more than the rest.
So it's, I need you to stop. I need you to explain to me what part of this. Is it the stripe and what's beyond, or the stripe and what's...
Yes, it's the whole piece.
No, I need you to stop using words like that.
Okay.
Listen to my question. Okay. I see in this picture, because I'm not looking at the carpet, so all I'm looking at is this picture. I see a stripe. Yes. Okay, which would coincide with the thing being in a roll and not rotating. It's not rotating to give. There's a stripe that is faded. So, and this is 4 steps, so the whole thing's going to be cut anyway. All right. So I don't see this part faded. I don't see that part faded. What do you think I should be seeing here, other than the stripe that's faded?
There's another picture that, Your Honor, that shows it a little bit clearer. If you can hold that one up.
I'd like you to come over here and show me what you're saying.
Okay. Okay. This whole thing is faded.
What's this whole thing?
The piece from here to there. It's faded.
Okay, so the entire picture is faded. So how can I tell if you don't take a picture of the non-faded part so that I can compare it? Okay. The only thing I see faded is that stripe.
I have a picture of the job that was done that will show the actual color of the rug.
Okay, let's do that. Show me that. Because it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. If it's rolled up, it would only be a small part. Listen to what I'm saying. It would make sense that only a small part is faded.
Right.
But also, if you're buying a remnant, why don't you unroll it so you can look at it before you buy it?
Well, he said he was going to do that before he came to the house.
Now that's fine. Now I'd like you to tell me, what am I supposed to see there besides that? I see that faded. Right. Okay. I see the same stripe faded here, which is a couple of inches. Tell me how in these pictures you are proving to me that 4 feet are faded. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's the width of the carpeting, number one, Your Honor. And you could see the color of the actual finished job. There was no highlighted areas at all on the platform. I know you cannot see the steps.
Your stairs are perfect, right? It's exactly what you wanted the rug for.
He did a great job. He did a great job.
What you are angry about is that you bought 12 by 19 and you want all 12 by 19 to be good. Now we're arguing about whether 4 feet are bad or whether 20 inches are bad. Now I'm going to need you to prove to me it's 4 feet. There's nothing in the, you could keep saying it, but I need you to prove it in these pictures. What in these pictures shows me 4 feet of carpeting is damaged?
Okay, if these particular things over here are approximately 8 or 9 inches, these pieces.
How would they have gotten faded if they were rolled in tight inside the room?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and go back. And then if you're going to charge a guy for remnants, don't you think that that's something the two of you should know beforehand and have a price agreed upon?
What we discussed was that he needed a 12 by 12, 12 by 13 to do the flight of stairs, the landing, the octagon step that's in the picture. So we were looking for a 12 by 12, 12 by 13. In my store, we have remnants that are all different sizes. I can't expect the customer to come in and pick out exact size for the room. We'll never sell anything. So whenever there's an overage, if the remnant's a little bit bigger than what they need, I adjust the price, which I did on here.
Let me see that.
Sure.
No, just hand it to my bailiff.
Sorry. So there's a $337 adjustment. The remnant was marked $1,000, Your Honor. I gave him an adjustment on the remnant, which knocked it down to $27 a yard. So if he had 3 yards damage, which now I'm seeing he doesn't even have that.
Wait, I'm sorry, stop. You didn't give him a discount because, first of all, this is all written after the fact. Stop. This is all written after the fact. I know this because it says $100 for the binding. So this isn't something that he signed, that you showed him, that you gave him a discount on because he was ordering it. This is something you typed up once you got sued.
Yeah,
right, so that's not helpful for me. What I want to know is when you say you're giving him a discount, you just mean, did you say to him, since it's more, show me where you write, since it's more, I'm giving you all those 4 feet free extra that you're getting. I mean, that's just made up by you now because of the lawsuit.
I can't do that for you.
Of course you can't, because you just charge him X. That's what you charge.
All I can say is that if he paid for a 12 by 20,
here's my question. I want to focus on the following. I want to focus on the following. When he says bind these, do you and he discuss a price? Yes or no?
Yes.
What was the price?
The price was, we had negotiated to $1,350, and I offered him one mat with the job I do on every job.
Stop. I'm talking about after the job is done. Okay, when he complains about, he talks to you and he complains about the fading, what do you say?
When he called me and he said that there was a fade in the carpet, I had said, Joe, you know that the piece was bigger than what you needed, and that's garbage. It's my option to take the piece back if I want, because he paid for 13 yards of carpet. That's the price.
Okay, I want you to prove that. I want you to prove that.
I can't.
Then don't say it anymore.
Okay.
All right? Because you keep saying it. I keep asking you for proof, and you don't.
Okay.
I have a receipt where you say 12 by 19.
It should
it's right on the receipt, 12 by 19.
I agree.
So he's saying, hey, I have a contract for 12 by 19. Part of it was damaged. You say it's 20 inches. I'm looking at pictures. I only see a little stripe. He says it's 4 feet. Trust me. But he can't prove that. I got it. So now, but what we're really talking about, because everybody was fine and dandy until the remnants were asked to be made into pads, and then he goes there to pick them up, and you say, well, it's only 2 pads. Where is that written?
So what happened was everything was fine and dandy when the job was done. I have 8 by 10s of the job. Very happy. He called me up. He gave the boys a tip. He complimented me on how I raised.
Yeah, okay, we're past that.
All that was good.
Okay.
So when he came in to buy the mats, and the $100 is what destroyed the whole sale.
Yes, it did. Well, so
he went
what?
Crazy. I said,
right, but why didn't stop? If you were gonna charge him for that, why didn't you tell him that beforehand?
Well, I never expected one mat to. I never expected 4 mats to come back.
Then stop.
One mat was supposed to come back.
Before you keep saying that, show me where anywhere in your paperwork you say a mat will be for free or 2 mats will be for free or whatever this expectation. It's not.
It was all on a handshake. I'm friends with him. I know him from years ago. Like
he says that the last time you made 3 mats for him and didn't charge him.
That's not true. We make 1 mat. If it was 10 years ago and it was 3 mats, it would be a surprise to me. But in today's world, we're doing 1
that's
mat
fine.
with
But
every
it's
job.
fine. You're entitled to do that. But when you are going to charge somebody, why do you assume that you could just name your price after the work is done? Stop.
The holidays are about spending time with your loved ones and creating magical memories that will last a lifetime. So whether it's family and friends you haven't seen in a while, or those who you see all the time, share holiday magic this season with an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Copyright 2024, The Coca-Cola Company.
We have one more act for you this evening. I don't even need to say his name. Mr. Bob Dylan.
A Complete Unknown is now a Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominee for Best Picture.
Bobby, what do you want to be?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
Timothée Chalamet astonishes as Bob Dylan in one of the best performances of the year.
Through the bums of dime in your prime.
And critics rave Edward Norton is absolutely fantastic.
70,000 people are here, and Bobby is the reason for it.
This Christmas.
They just want me singing Blowing in the Wind for the rest of my life.
Don't miss the movie critics are hailing 5 stars.
Today on your
It's pure cinematic magic.
Turn it down!
play loud.
And named to AFI and the National Board of Review's top 10 films of the year.
Make some noise, BD. Track some mud on the carpet.
A Complete Unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Why don't you make clear to him, I will make these 4 that you are requesting. The price is $100. And then he decides, yes, make them, or no, only make 2 so it's free, or make 1. Why aren't the 2 of you communicating on this?
I guess we just went on a handshake.
There's no handshake. You never got an agreement by him to pay the $100. Right?
Right.
Right. So he gets there and he is incensed that you left a note, didn't wait for him, aren't there to tell him yourself, and say $100. Is it worth it? Was $100 worth it? Because you bind those things on a machine, right? Like
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, so I mean, hey, that's your stock and trade, and you're entitled to charge for it. But I'm here to enforce contracts. You see, so there has to be an agreement that he's going to pay you before you get to charge whatever you want. Now, I understand a lawsuit for $100, but I don't understand your lawsuit for $400. Is it because you keep insisting that there's 4 feet, but you can't show me in the pictures?
Okay, Your Honor, he just said that there was, how wide was it that he's
20
claiming?
inches.
20
inches. So
and that's not even true. It's shown in the picture.
Yeah, I don't think it's 20 inches either. It's just like, it's just the one part that was exposed to the sun because the thing's not rotating, so it's not 20. There may be 20 inches exposed, but it's like 7 or 8 inches in that
It's
carpet.
just where the sun comes in the window.
Yeah, right. I got it. I got it. But my question to you is, if you had come in here, pounding on the desk about the $100, you're 100% right and righteous. Why are you suing for $400 if you can't prove to me there's 4 feet of faded carpet?
Your Honor, I just can't prove that. The only thing I don't understand, how do I know that carpeting wasn't rolled out and then it was rolled back and put back as a remnant?
No, how do I know there's 4 feet of damage on your 12 by 19? You haven't proven that. You've proven that there's one tiny strip that was faded and it's garbage. You also have proven something else by accident, because this is what you're suing for, the waste of the carpet, which you can only prove is a tiny little stripe, and that you expect waste on a carpet. Your job was done perfectly. It's not like you had to have faded carpet on your steps. This is silly. Your better argument is, hey, I thought you were going to make the remnants for me. Nobody ever discussed a price. I go to pick them up, and then you hijack me for $100. That's a good case. That part is a good case. $400, no. $100, yes. Verdict for the plaintiff, $100. Because you have to have an agreement, okay, in place beforehand. You can't just make it up later. And you lost a customer.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails. He does get $100. He didn't get the extra $400 he was trying to get. Let's see what the defendant has to say. Sir, how do you feel what the judge just decided?
I think it was very fair.
Very fair?
Yes.
That's good. Do you think, the judge remarked you may have lost a customer. Did you lose a customer?
No, he just told me he would come back to me anytime.
Well, that's good. All right. Maybe you should have a real clear understanding, and that's really what happened here, that you didn't have a good understanding.
I learned everything has to be written down on the contract.
Excellent.
Word for word.
Very good. Word for word.
I have to cross my T's and dot my I's.
Okay, you've learned something. Good for you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. So let's see how Mr. Peroso feels about it. He wanted more. He didn't get the extra $400. Sir, how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel good about it. And he did, in fact, do a good job installing the carpeting. And again, as he said, I would use them in the future again. Just there was a
the picture of the stairs, yeah, it looks great. Looks really good.
No, he did a good job. He did. I can't say no more about it, And look, it is what it is, and I'm happy.
All right, good enough. If you're happy, look, hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry you didn't get the extra money.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, good enough.
I got to say, this makes total sense. Why would the plaintiff have to pay for these remnants when they're of no value to him? The only value is the carpeting that's actually laid down.
Can I sue the landlord if I fall down the stairs and break my foot because of a loose railing?
Yes, you can sue the landlord over a loose railing when you fall down the stairs if that's what caused the fall. I mean, in a premises liability case where you're suing somebody for something like that, you have to show that they own the property, that they were negligent in maintaining the railing, let's say, that you got injured on the property, and that the injury was caused by
the loose railing, as opposed to that you're klutzy.
Yeah.
So I know a thing or two about it. Also, we're assuming that stairwell is outside on the common areas.
Right.
Because if the stairwell's in your own house and the railing has been loose and you've alerted no one to it, then the landlord would certainly not be responsible. You'd have to show that you have told the landlord, hey, this railing is loose, and then they negligently never repaired it.
Right, but this is a very typical premises liability scenario where somebody goes to a property, whether it's a private home or whether it's a business, and they expect normal staircase or something, and all of a sudden,
they expect you to be taking care of business and maintaining things so that they're safe for anybody who's going to use them.
Right, and sometimes those injuries can be really serious, and that's why
Tell me about it.
You with your broken foot.
Yep.
That was your fault, though.
It was my fault.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
This is the plaintiff, Nathaniel Frank Clark. He says he loaned the defendant his former friend money to pay rent, and the guy is trying to weasel out of paying him back. The defendant's been ghosting him now for 2 months. He was a friend to this man when he was in need, and now he can't get his money back from him? Some people. He's suing for $380, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, William David Hurd. He says the plaintiff had a crush on him or something and gave him $300 for rent to help him out. This was a gift, plain and simple. But now he's trying to turn it into some kind of loan or something because he stopped talking to him. Oh, money he received as a gift? No way. He's accused of letting a friend down. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,200 for lost work.
All parties, please hit your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that he loaned his former friend money, and now the guy is ghosting him. But the defendant says that the plaintiff had a crush on him or something, and he gave him money as a gift. It's the case of now I'm going to crush you.
Have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Nathaniel Clark, you're suing William Hurd for a $300 loan and an $80 Bluetooth device. You have a counterclaim against Clark for $1,200 for 2 weeks of lost wages. All right, let me hear from you first, Nathaniel Clark.
Hi, Judge. I met William Hurd. We was both in a rehab facility. He left early to pursue a job. I was taking him back and forth to work. I helped him find housing, and I was just a really good friend to him. You know, he worked a seasonal job. So in January, he was short on his rent, and I loaned him $300 to pay his rent. He promised to pay me back. I had loaned him money in the past, and he always paid back, but this time I hadn't heard from him in a couple of months, so I didn't know his intentions, you know. And then when I tried to get in touch with him, because I did obligate myself to take him back and forth to work till he got reliable transportation. But I'm retired. I got a part-time job, and I was calling him to let him know that I got a part-time job to work out a schedule where I could take him back and forth to work. But during the course of that, I couldn't get in touch with him. So if I can't get in touch with you and you owe me, I don't know your intentions. I don't know what's going on. So I filed a suit to get my money back.
Mr. Hurd, according to him, you owe him $300. What say you about that?
Yeah, like you said, we met. He was helping me out, getting me to work. Actually, I found the job, and he was taking me back and forth to work, found me housing. I got laid off in January, and this day, like in specific, he had called me and said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, just trying to figure out how to pay my rent. I'm calling 411 and different agencies to kind of help me out. And he kept saying, he's like, "Don't you worry about that. You're hard-headed. You need to, learn how to ask for help." He said, "I got you. Call your landlord and tell him he can come pick the money up." And I'm like, "No, Nate, I don't want to do that. You know I don't like doing that." He's like, "Will," he's like, "I got you. Just call him and tell him." So I was like, "All right, give me until about 4 o'clock, and I'll let you know if I can't find anything else. I'll call you." So that ended up happening. I couldn't find any more resources. He goes ahead and brings the money over, hands it to me. I hand it right to the landlord. He was there. And that was it. So pretty much like my take on it was like he was helping me out. Like he has helped me out before, and we helped each other out. And,
has he also loaned you money and you've also paid it back, which he says has happened too?
Yes, yeah. There's times where he's loaned me $50 or $60 for certain things, and I have paid him back.
So what you're saying is there was no discussion about payback of the $300?
Not really like I remember like that. Like it wasn't like, like a for sure thing.
Was there any discussion about payback before he gave you the $300, that this was a loan and not a gift?
Not that I can remember.
Did you think it was a loan or did you think it was a gift?
Like, he's given me gifts in the past. You know, like one day we were driving, he's like, go to Best Buy. We go to Best Buy. He bought me a 4K Roku stick and a $50 antenna for my TV. And, you know, he would just do stuff like that. Bought me jewelry, clothes. So,
Was he trying to date you?
I'm possibly, I don't want to say for sure, but.
Were you taking advantage of that situation?
No, because I told him straight up, and he knew how I was, and he knew I was trying to be in a relationship with the mother of my child, and so like I was straightforward with it. He knew, you know, it was understood.
What is this Bluetooth device he's talking about?
It's a portable. It's actually a portable Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Box.
And why do you have his portable Wi-Fi box?
So the day we went to Best Buy to get the Roku stick, he told me that I could borrow his Wi-Fi box so that we actually cooked dinner and watched movies at my place that night. And then he ended up leaving it there for me to use. And just during that time period, this was like maybe February, I just kind of, you know, I'm a super introvert. So there's times where I stop calling people, I stop answering for people. And people get upset. It's nothing personal. It's just something I do. I need to recharge my batteries, and I don't deal with anybody. So,
well, you could be more polite about it, but in any event, that's, you know, yeah. So what happened though? You ghosted him, and he got offended.
Basically.
Yeah. How long did you ghost him for?
I want to say maybe a week or two.
Okay. So, do you still have the Bluetooth device?
Yes, I do.
Did you ever receive any, while you were ghosting him, did he ever text you, I'd like my Bluetooth device?
So shortly after the incident, this was maybe 2 weeks after all this, he did. He asked me if I still had it and stuff. I said yes. And I think he actually came and picked me up for something, and we went maybe to a NA meeting or something like that, and dropped me off, and the box was at the house, and I, you know, just didn't think of it. He must have forgot about it too, so that's why, like, it just slipped my mind. I never.
Do you have any evidence, Mr. Clark, of ever having requested the Wi-Fi box?
No, unfortunately, I deleted those texts, but I text him a couple of times. I even told him, I said, well, if you don't want to talk to me, it's cool. Just
right.
put it
That's
in the
about
mailbox.
wanting to talk to you. That's about wanting to talk to you. Let's look at the text that you submitted. He says, good morning, Nate. Sorry, I was sleeping all day yesterday. Whatever. You just don't want to talk to me, but it's cool. I'm done trying. Just give me my money, please. Now I don't want to talk to you. Nate, I am honestly so sorry. I've been wondering about you, but haven't had the courage to call, and I really need you. If you can come and pick me up from my job, I'm having a very time spiritually right now, and I don't know what the rest of that said. And then you say, I'm at work, and if I wasn't, I didn't have any more. My give a damn done wore out. He answers, this is a couple weeks later, good morning, Nate. I don't care if you don't give a damn, but I still do, and I was only being me. You know I'm an introvert, so you don't really have a reason to be mad at me. I do the same thing to everyone. I'm always by myself, and I get so used to it, and I isolate. I didn't mean anything by it. But that's where we differ. I wish you the best. Nate, you know I'm going to give you the money I owe you. It sounds like you're not that unclear about it. You probably are going to lose more money with the court stuff. I'm waiting on my taxes, yada, 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 yada. Do you ever pay back any of the loan?
No.
All right.
I still have not received.
And then you have the Bluetooth device at your house?
Yes.
Okay. And you are counterclaiming 2 weeks of lost wages. Explain that to me.
So when I got that original interview for the job, it was for a larger company, and I was still at the recovery place where me and him both were staying, and I needed a ride to the interview. So I was asking around, and people said, hey, ask Nate, he'll do it. So I approached Nate, asked him, and
are we talking about 2 years ago when you guys were both in the recovery house?
Yes, this was, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So he agrees. He's happy to take me. And then I come out from the interview, and I'm explaining it to him. And I said, the only problem is why this job might not work is I don't have reliable transportation. I went into the interview understanding that, with the understanding that they were going to supply me with transportation, but unfortunately that wasn't the case because of the distance I live. So Nate basically told me to take the job. He'll take me back and forth to work. And I'm like, are you sure, Nate? Like, I don't want to do that.
How long was he taking you to and from work?
This was, I want to say, September 1st, I got the job until December, all the way through December.
Of what year?
So this was September 2021 till December 2021, the same year.
Okay. All right. And then what happened? You stopped answering his calls. He stopped taking you to work.
I actually got laid off December 24th. And then we were still communicating at this time. This was before the loan. But he knew I had a start date back up. I let him know of March 15th. That's when I was supposed to start back at work. And this was like still understood between us. And every week I was paying him $50 a week. It started off, I was giving him gas cards, and then it went straight to cash, $50 a week.
Right, but he decided he doesn't want to take you anymore because you guys aren't friends anymore. So, I mean, what is he? He's got to take you for the rest of your life to work? I mean, he doesn't have to do that.
Well, no, it's not that.
So then why are you suing for 2 weeks of lost wages? Why does he have to pay you 2 weeks of lost wages? He only has to pay you if there's a legal obligation he had that he didn't fulfill. But just because someone says, I'm going to give you a ride to and from work, it doesn't mean they have to do it all the time for the rest of their life in perpetuity. So on your counterclaim against him, 0. On his claim against you, I'm ordering you to pay back the $300. Your texts seem to be pretty clear that it wasn't a gift. Regarding the Wi-Fi box, we'll make arrangements with Officer McIntosh for the return of the Wi-Fi box. That's
Your
my verdict.
Honor.
Good luck, folks. I know you bought another Wi-Fi box. I know that. But what you're entitled to is this Wi-Fi box.
Okay.
So the plaintiff does prevail, gets $300 back from the defendant. Mr. Hurd, what do you think about the judge's verdict?
I mean, it's fair. I guess I do owe the money, but when I first was handed the money, it was basically a gift. There was no agreement to pay back.
Well, that's not the way the judge looks at it. She thinks it's an obligation, so you got to do it. And, you know, he was really nice to you, giving you all that transportation for those many months. You should have paid him back. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my plans to pay him back, but I just haven't received the funding yet. And since I lost my job, it's been even harder.
All right. Mr. Clark, this is over, I guess, as far as you're concerned, but you are going to get the money back. You okay with that? You have to be.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And I wish him the best.
So you were a pretty decent guy to offer to transport him, you know, give him all that transportation, that lengthy time. So
yeah, the problem is that people take advantage sometimes, but it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a credit to you. So that's good. You'll get your money back, and hopefully you're satisfied now, and that'll end this dispute between you guys. Okay? Good enough.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. All right. That's it for this case. Harvey, what are your opinions? What do you think?
Doug, we have talked about this a lot, and usually when it's a case of gift versus loan, the person who gave the money wins. I mean, we've just seen that. It's hard to prove that it's a gift when there's no writing or anything like that. This is a different case. This is a case where the presumption of a loan was rebutted, and the judge believed it was indeed a gift. Again, the person who gets the money has to tip the scale, showing it's likely that it's a gift more than it's likely that it's a loan, and that's what happened here.
My brother bought a male dog for breeding purposes for $1,500. The seller knew it was a breeder because my brother's been in the breeding business for 20 years. It turns out the dog is sterile. Can my brother get his money back?
That's going to depend on what's in the contract and what was the agreement between the parties. If you sell me a dog knowing it's for breeding purposes, and you know the dog is sterile, not the dog becomes sterile through some other the dog is sterile.
Well, maybe it took a long time for him to find out that the dog is sterile.
Yeah, maybe
he didn't. He thought, the dog's kind of young. I'm going to breed it in 6 months or in a year. And then he started breeding the dog when it was more mature, and finds out,
I mean, there's got to be some kind of fraud on the part of the seller as opposed to an honest mistake. How would the seller know nobody knows if a dog is sterile unless they can say, if the seller lied and said, I've bred this dog 3 times, and then it turns out a doctor says, this dog has never bred anything because this dog has been sterile since birth, then there's a lie the seller said that's why you get your money back. It's a misrepresentation.
Right, but it can't just be a buyer getting a pig in a poke, a dog in a poke, and not knowing what the hell they're getting. In other words, wouldn't most courts find an implied warranty of fitness or suitability for the purpose? Because I'm not buying a dog to have him fetch my newspaper or hang around the house and bark. He's a breeder. Yeah. You know he's a breeder. I'm getting him for that purpose.
But I think this is going to be really fact specific, because for you to get your money back, I have to have done something wrong.
Right.
So what did I do wrong? Did I manufacture a doctor's clean bill of health? Did I lie and say that the dog had another litter? Right. Did I have to have done something wrong. If it turns out that you bought a dog who had never been bred before, which if you're a breeder, you don't do that because sterility happens. So
how did it happen?
Right.
What if the dog had some kind of fever or condition while he was in your care?
Yeah, exactly. So most breeders will buy a dog that's already been bred once and has already participated, a track record. Right. And that they're not shooting blanks, and then that it's going to be for your purpose. So I had a case. I actually had a case in Miami before I was the judge on the People's Court, where someone bought 2 parrots, and they live a long time, and they bought them from an aviary that was closing down that said, we've bred those 2 before, and as it turns out, one of them was a hermaphrodite.
Okay.
It had both organs and could not breed. So that was a specific lie that was being told, that they had bred those 2 birds before. That's different. They got their money back.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are out of time. Before we go, you can check out our podcast. You can check out our YouTube channel. You just can't get enough court these days. That's the way I see it. We'll see you next time.